Well, welcome everybody to part 2 of our Tai Chi video during this time where we're all housebound. Again, big thanks to Natalie and Alice for allowing us this time to put this together. And again, big thanks for Will for putting the video together as well. When we did the first video, we did blocks 1 to 3. We're going to move quite a bit forward now. We're going to take it in from blocks 25, 27 and 28. And the reason why I've taken out block 26 is because if anybody's doing this from home, maybe the first time, let's say, maybe a family member who's never done the Tai Chi before, we don't want them to feel too stressed on the hips. So what we need to do is make sure that they feel comfortable, and that way hopefully they'll come back and enjoy it again and again. So at any time, if anybody needs to stop because they feel unwell, just take a sit down, and remember you can always come back in and rejoin. What I will do is I'll do those 3 blocks, I'll talk through the mechanics of the movement, and then we'll go through them again, and we will just get lost in the music and our own thoughts. And that's the beauty of the Tai Chi. But it's only very important at the beginning that we go through the mechanics, so any family member that's doing this for the first time, they understand what to do, and hopefully you enjoy these next 3 blocks as much as you did on blocks 1, 2 and 3. So are we ready to begin? So let's take the stance now, very wide. We know this to be a wide Wu Chi stance, but in order to make sure that your knees are safe, it's very important that your knees are in line with your big toe. As we go from side to side, if you feel that your knees protruding a bit too far forward over that leading toe, just take your stance just a little bit wider. So as we go from side to side, we begin to free the hips. We put a little bit of strength into the ankle, but we also mobilize the knee. Now it's important to get the right speed. And to get the right speed is to try and focus more on the leg that fully extends. The leg that bends, that will find itself, but if we focus too much on the leg that's bending, sometimes the action is a little bit too fast. So the aim on this one is to get a full extension into the leg, and that will you'll just notice that you drop your speed, which will give you more of a Tai Chi feel. As we begin, we lift to salutation. As we do this now, we can lock into the legs, palms press. As we come down the center line, we soften into the knees. Feel the strength in the wrist. And then we release the palm heel. We stay connected with the fingertips. As we forward flex, we cross the wrists. We lift all the way back up to the ceiling. So we go back to salutation. Palms press. But this time, as we come down, the hands only go as far as the forehead. We open the wrist and release. Again now, as we press to the top, we come down only as far as the forehead, and then release. Now we go back to the first variation, where we make our way down to the sternum. And we feel that pressure in the wrist, but now we turn the feet 45 degrees to one side, preferably the left. And then from there, we release the hands as we come through with the wrists. The back of the hands just touch, and as we fall back, we open the palms. Again, as we put the weight forward, the back of the hands touch, and as we come back, we open up the chest muscles. Now, as to how many we would do of these, we could do a series of 8, we could do a series of 16, or you can do whatever you feel that fits right with you. No sooner do we come back, we take our weight forward, as we drop back, feel the energy now transfer through to the hips, into the front leading leg. As we feel the back of the hands touch, that is a release point to where we would come back. The focus on this is to really work your legs so that we don't get carried away with the momentum. So again, we're looking for that full extension into the knee like we did during the warm-up. Want to use your breath. As we now start to use the breath, we breathe in as we come back. And then we have more forceful action as we come forward, we let that breath release. Breathing in and breathing out. Now we need to take this now to the other side. So So again, now we take the feet to 45 to the other side this time. As we come through, the back of the hands touch. We open up the free front knee, arms come back. Feel the shoulder blades squeezing together at the back. We come through, and we open. Press the back of the hands together. As we come back, we notice the weight now is 70% on the back leg, and now it goes to 70% on the front leg. If we want to use the breath, start thinking now about the energy going forward, breathing in, and exhaling, breathing out. Breathing in, and breathing out. Last time. Now as we come back to our starting position, we go back to salutation. We press the palms again at the top as we come down to the knee bend. We go as far as the middle of the chest, known as the sternum. We release the palm heels and we release. As we come back up, again now we press the palms at the top. We make our way down just to the top of the forehead and release. Now we have 2 more to do. And then we have a nice little stretch there for the lower back. But again, if you do have lower back concerns, be very careful as to how forward you flex. Now when we come down to the sternum, again now we turn the feet to 45, and we go through that now because this is our second set. We open, and we close. As we open the swan, the wings open and the wings close. Feel where the weight is, feel where the weight isn't. How do your legs feel? Are your legs beginning to loosen? Feel a little extra stretch now across your shoulder blades at the back. Forget to use the breath as we breathe in, we breathe out, close the wings. Now we fully open the wings. Go back to our starting position. We have to turn the feet at this stage because we don't want to go straight to the knees. We come through, we touch the back of the hands, and we close the wings. Again, if we feel where the weight is and where the weight isn't, you should have more control with your balance. So we include a little bit more strength into the legs, which will hopefully give us more control and more balance. Breathing in, and breathing out. Now, as we now move into singles, we now transfer that now to the other side. We come back to the center, and we take that to the other side. Come back to the center. As we come through now to the last time to the other side, we go back to our tree trunk variation. So we have a wider tree trunk this time. Now as we come back to salutation, we need to give those hips a little bit of a rest. So we come back into Wu Chi stance, we soften the knees, and as we forward flex into a back refresher, back revitalizer, we have a slight variation on this one. If you want to advance it, you would lift one leg and then come down with both heels present on the ground. Now do you do the same leg or do you repeat that now on the other side? So a little bit more challenge on the balance. And the last one brings us now back to our bird wing as we step wide, back of the hands touch. Close the wings. Feel a little bit more control now. The lower and the upper body are working well together because we have more control. to the side, and hopefully you have the same control on the other side. Now, as we come to the end of block 25, we need to give those hips a little bit of a rest. So we lift back to salutation. As we come through into painting the fence, that brings our stance now back from wide Wu Chi to Wu Chi. Now, as we move into blocks 27, we have another variation of painting the fence. As we come through, we soften the elbows and release. Now, what's important this time when you come up is as you come back with your palms, notice the elbows soften. And it should give it a lighter feel. And also by bending your elbows when you come back, you'll find also that you're just taking a little bit of the weight off the shoulders at the same time. The pivot point is still the shoulder, but the arm is lighter because of this bend, this flexion at the elbow. Now we can advance it from here now. So as we go back now to salutation, we need to decide now which leg. But I'm going to start with my right leg. It doesn't matter which leg you're doing if you're doing this at home. But as I turn my right foot to the side, I use that leg to step back, 45. Then the hands would come down. And then I need to get very much symmetrical on both legs, so the weight is the same. As the arms now lift from behind, we lift all the way up, we come down, but we have a little bit of a stretch into the middle of the back, so I'll let the hands now just go a little bit more to the outside of the front hip. As the arms come through, rise up, and we come down. We can use our breath if we breathe in. Breathe out. If you want to challenge your balance again, you can look to the ceiling, take your vision elsewhere, which will challenge your balance. This is all part of your central nervous system, challenging your vision, taking your vision elsewhere. Notice the palms are coming down level. Fingertips are very close together. Now to come back to our starting position, I let the hands come back to the middle, but I release the hand nearest the leg to give me back support. And then I step in with the back leg, and that brings us back to where we started. So again, we would lift into painting the fence. We can add value to this by softening the elbows as the arms draw back and releasing. Breathe in, breathe out as we soften the elbows, and we just find our normal breathing. We call that tidal volume, just normal breath. Breathing in, and breathing out, and tidal volume. Now as we lift again to the ceiling into our salutation, we have spear hand at the top. I step out now on the left leg as that again now turns to the side. We step back, palms come down, we find our true balance, so you find your base. So is it 50-50? From there, the arms from behind, we rise up, and as they come down, we pause there, but we want to get a little bit more active into the middle of the back, so the hands just come a little bit more over the outside of the front hip. As the arms come down, lift, up, around, and down. Again, if you want to challenge yourself, eyes look towards the ceiling. Again, if you have the luxury of doing this outside in the garden, look into that clear blue sky. So where's the breath? Breathe in as we lift. We breathe out as we come down. Notice again, your fingertips are close together, so there's no gaps. As we come through, we need to now come back to the center. So the hand nearest the front leg now lowers towards the thigh to give us back support as the back leg steps back in. Come back to where we started into painting the fence. Elbows soften and release. Deep breath in and a nice relaxing breath out. Now as we move into block 8, if we take the base wide into wide Wu Chi, again we need to make sure that the knees are safe. So as we look down, can you see your big toe? And as you just transfer your weight over to one side, are you still able to see that toe? If not, just take the base a little bit wider. As we go from side to side, this is a little bit of skill rehearsal for when we move into our final block, which we know is to be block 28. Now block 28 starts with the stance 50-50. The palms now come through to the lower jawline. And then as we lift to the ceiling, we fall away towards that right leg. We block the sun. We defend from the kick. We find the weight 50-50. We come through. And the palms now again make the way to the lower jaw. We fall away to the left leg. We block the sun on the other side. We defend from the kick. We find our stance. We come through. We lift through the center line. We transfer the weight, 70% on one leg, 30 on the other, and now we block and defend in one move. Back to 50-50, we come through the center, we block and defend on the other side. Now you'll notice now this arm that's low, as it comes through, the top arm comes down, it goes behind the wrist, as we transfer our weight from side to side. Now hopefully you can appreciate why we do that warm-up, where we transfer our weight from one side to the other. Now as the hands go through, one hand is up and the other arm is low. And in Tai Chi they call this the floating cloud. So as your arms are coming through, they're very light. Treat your arms now as if they're clouds. The bottom arm can be taking a drink from the fountain. Or again, like we did last time, we can be taking some sand and throwing it into the attacker's eyes. Now we have a little variation this time. The floating cloud now, as we know, clouds change direction, size and weight. So the arm lifts. We repeat that now on the other side, and then we go back to a low cloud. And we start thinking about the high clouds. So we lift, and we lift. We come through into low cloud. How does your weight feel as you go from side to side? Shoulders relaxed, shoulders falling down away from the ears so there's no tension in your neck. Now we find our breath, breathing in, breathing out. High cloud, breath in, and breath out. Last time, breathing in, and breathing out. Now as we come through the center, we go to the lower jaw. But this time, when we fall towards the right leg, we offer the palm, this time face down. The left palm faces down. Now the arm that's nearest your jaw, notice the arm opens. We come through, we find 50-50. We lift, we transfer 70-30, like we did last time. And there's our spear hand. The arm that's nearest the jaw opens at the elbow. We find our stance, breath in, breath out. Back to 50-50. Arm that's nearest the ear, that's the one that opens. Often that can be a little bit confusing, so just to understand the mechanics of this, the hand that's nearest the jaw is the arm that opens. One more before we go back to floating cloud. So the arm nearest the jaw comes through. This time it's on top. And there's your low cloud. And we do about 8 of those. We have 3 more to do. Last 2. And you'll notice now this last one brings us back over to the right side. So now we go back to high cloud. high cloud, low cloud. Now find your breath. Breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out. Tidal volume, do you remember the tidal volume, normal breathing, which we used in block 1, 2 and 3 on the very first video. And from there, we go back to high cloud. High cloud, we come through the center, looking for spear hand, draw the weight over to the right leg, there's your spear hand, arm nearest the jaw opens, we lift through the center, spear hand on the other side, from there we open the elbow, we lift, fall away, last time, and this now brings us to the end, where we go back to low cloud. And the advantage now of finishing on high cloud is you'll be able to put your weight where it needs to be on one leg. And we take the other high cloud to the side. And that allows us now to go back to where we started from, which was Wai Ru Chi. So now we need to go back to the first block, which we did, if you remember, was block 25. Then we need to follow that into blocks 27 and 28. And we need to now engineer this section for those that do attend the Tai Chi class on a regular basis, where we work a little bit more on the mind and body aspect. So if that was your first time, I hope you enjoyed that. And now this is for those that tend to switch off a little bit and engage in their own inner thoughts. that completes blocks 25, blocks 27 and 28. So thank you everybody at home, and I hope you enjoy that and it keeps you going during these dark times. So thanks again to Will, and to Alice and Natalie for allowing us to have this opportunity as well. Thanks very much.